Hi everyone, my name is Agnieszka and I'm product designer here in California based in Los Angeles, and I'm working for Boston Consulting Group Digital Ventures. And in this video I would like to share with you my path towards getting a full-time job here in California, as well as getting H1B, as of course for many Europeans and other people in the world it's not easy to get a job here in US, and H1B is a must. So I was thinking that I would like to share with you how I got my H1B and just shape a path and make it clear for you how you could also get it. But of course every life is different, every path is different, and this is just something that worked for me, and hopefully it can give you tips and ideas what you can do yourself. So as the first thing, I came to US on a tourist visa, and I wanted to see how I feel about the place. I came to US not really thinking that I'm going to move here permanently. I was at the time living in Amsterdam, but I was on a crossroad. I wanted to make a change in my life. I wanted to be part of tech world, as I was already doing a lot of UX work for clients. And it came as an opportunity that I actually was able to come to California on a tourist visa and check the place for myself. And I think this is a really great thing to do, to check for yourself whether this is a place where you want to live, how you feel about it, which city you would like to go to. So in the beginning I came to North California, which was Palo Alto area, Berkeley, and I stayed there for 2 months, and so that is actually a great place to be. I was at the time in Palo Alto, and being in all these coffee shops where everyone is talking about the tech world. I actually saw teacher that was actually few months before in Warsaw giving a talk, and I attended his workshop, and then I saw him back in the coffee shop in Palo Alto. It was incredible encounter, but getting this vibe and seeing how people are interacting there, what are the conversations happening, what are the companies around, really gave me an incentive that this is something that I want to be part of. And I also really like the climate, that it's sort of warm all the time, and also the people around. So I came back home and I actually started applying to jobs, and I noticed soon after I started applying, I noticed that there's a requirement for the visa, and it's not very easy for companies to sponsor your visa if you're not already either really famous in the industry or already in California. So I started researching, and I found out that actually I would need to pursue an OPT, which is optional practical training, which can be done in the universities. And an OPT can allow you to actually do internship, get a full employment for 1 year with the company. So as my next steps, what I've done is that I started researching the schools that actually are doing OPT, and there are not that many of them, I would say, and some of them have different requirements. So I would advise to check what are the requirements. In my case, I was considering a UC Berkeley extension, and then UC Santa Cruz Silicon Valley Extension. But the difference was really the English exam, and I didn't have TOEFL exam at the time, and taking the exam would take some time, and I didn't really want to wait more. I already had some deadlines in my head that I wanted to pursue. Yeah, I would advise to research what are the requirements, what's suitable for you, what are the deadlines that you have, timelines, how much time you want to give in order to get into a school, how certain you want to be in that specific time frame that you have. And in my case, as I didn't have the English exam, I basically went for the school that didn't require that. In my case, it was the UC Silicon Valley Extension, and they ask people to do the English exam once you arrive there in the US. So it just sounded to me as something comfortable, as my timelines were sort of short. After you find a school that actually is matching your requirements and it's also in the right location where you want to live, as well as the timelines are fine with you, you have to take into consideration the student visa. Applying for the student visa, there are specific timelines and requirements. You have to prepare for the interview. So the visa is called F1 visa. So this is necessary visa in order to pursue any education here in the US. So you have to take into consideration, you have to communicate with the school that you chose about the process of that visa, about your timelines, as they need to send you specific documents for that visa interview. And once you book your tickets, for example, to come to US, you also need to match those dates of your travel to getting that visa and like your passport being sent to your home. After you arrive in the US and once you settle down, I started attending the classes, and obviously in the beginning of my 1-year certificate, I had to do the English exam. No problem at all. I think it was very efficient, went very smooth, and I think it is a really great alternative for people that don't have like TOEFL or IELTS, like any English exam that they've done in the past. So my certificate lasted for a year. I've met super amazing people, really great teachers. The certificate allows you to produce a massive amount of work which you can put into your portfolio once you start applying to jobs for your OPT. Plus, you can also do the internships. In my case, I've done 3 internships. One that started in Berkeley, one that started in San Francisco, and one was remote one. But it's up to you what type of companies you want to do internship, as well as how long it's going to last for. Like, it's very flexible, but in the end, it's a experience that you can put into your CV. And it allows you to produce a work that you can put into your portfolio. So I think that was immensely helpful as I started to applying for jobs after I finished my certificate. So what happens after you finish your certificate is that you start applying for OPT basically. So you mention to companies that you want to do OPT with them, and you can literally apply to any company you want. But you have to make sure, if you want to stay here actually and you want to work in California, you have to make sure that the companies that offer you OPT can also sponsor you a visa after they're happy with you. Soon after you get a job where you want to do your OPT and you're really happy about it, and they said yes to sponsoring H1B visa, you have to start the process as soon as possible. You have to just mention to them that this is something that you want to do. I mean, of course, I believe that the companies will take 100% care of that soon after you start working with them. My company, Boston Consulting Group Digital Ventures, applied for me for H1B. I'm super grateful for that. But in the meantime, when I was applying for it, I got RFE, which is pretty common for all the people applying for H1B, and it's called Request for Evidence. So it's basically the company needs to gather the proof, needs to gather all the information, evidence that you are needed in the US market. So in my case, I had to write a very detailed description of all the work that I'm doing at Boston Consulting Group, as well as all the extra work as a designer, how I'm contributing to the design world. So literally, I would just advise you, if you're a product designer, keep on contributing to this world, keep on writing articles, making connections, doing any extra projects, hobby projects which are relating to making this design world like more educated or like more rich in content. And put your skills out there, because this is really like how much you actually care about your profession and how important you are to this market. So since I'm still in California, I got my H1B and I'm working for Boston Consulting Group Digital Ventures, and I'm extremely happy about it. Very thankful for the opportunity that I got. So I'm really happy to share all these steps, like what was my path towards getting that visa. I'll write it down in the description of this video. Write down all the steps just so you know how you can plan things accordingly. And I think sooner you start thinking about it and preparing yourself, it's gonna make immense change to your process. As like, for example, this RFE, as soon as you get it, you sort of know what type of things you can include in this documentation, but also how you can plan your path, like once you're doing the postgraduate certificate, how you can build these connections, build your portfolio, knowing what type of job you want to get soon after you finish that postgraduate certificate, as soon after you finish your OPT, like where you want to go. So I wish I knew all of these things like beforehand, so that that's why I'm really happy to share this with you. So please let me know in the comments if you have any questions about the process. And since I'm Polish, I'm also going to record a Polish video of all of these steps, just to let know my peers like how it is for a Polish person getting a job here in California. I think it's really useful to know all of that. And thank you so much for listening, and see you in the next video.